a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving and good morning. Welcome to SimWorld Today. I'm B-Ron. Alongside me, as always, the Turkey Man himself yells, "What's up, man? Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving."
The turkey man.
I don't know,
I'm gonna
man.
roll with it. Good morning, happy Thanksgiving to you, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody tuning in out there, man. I hope you guys get all of the gluttony and appreciation you want in on one day. But most importantly, be thankful for your family, your loved ones, whoever it is around. So yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it, man.
exactly. Yeah, let's do it. That was a great segue, believe it or not, into our first topic of the morning. We're all going to be giving thanks for things today, for our personal lives, but let's take a minute and give thanks for things we are thankful for in SimWorld Prep. Uh, I am thankful for all of the talented coaches and players that we have in our league that really make this thing, what it is. Without you guys, there's no way we could do what we do and talk about you guys. So thank you all for being a part of what we do.
For sure. Can I break the fourth wall for a minute? I mean, if
Yes, yes, of
anybody's
course.
allowed to, I'm allowed to do it, right?
Yeah,
I get
yeah,
that. I get
right.
that.
Yeah, so
Breaking the fourth wall, you guys are enjoying all of you guys in this league. B-Run spot on as far as this couldn't be a thing without you guys being here, active and engaged. But I want to say shout out to the team, man. We have a special team of people that are out there getting it done every single day. So I definitely want to say shout out to the SimWorld team. I'm gonna shout out myself. I know the work I put in daily. Shout out to Sam. You guys don't really see a whole lot of him, but he powers a lot of what we got going on here. Shout out to Jalen. Same scenario. You guys see him around a bit, but he does some things behind the scenes. Shout out to Big Siege in the building. Y'all hear a lot from him. Shout out to the old man of our crew, the Mr. Knowledge, giving y'all some excellent articles, and y'all start hearing his voice here soon. Elava the voice. Shout out to very own B-Ron here, the anchor here, and he giving you every dose of niceness you need. Big Bob keeping everybody in line. He's gonna let you know what's wrong 24/7. So shout out to Big Bob. J Rock. I want to say shout out to Big J Rock, and he's got a big pod coming up. So make sure you guys are tuned in and you're supporting that. Davion, the constant. Nobody really hears from this dude, but all he does is get it done. Davion, much respect to you. Maestro the Pro. You guys, again, y'all better be turning in those dirty takes and dirty shorts and all that other stuff. Man, this guy is the most interesting guy in our world. He's done it all. I thought I'd done it all, but my God, he's got more years on me, so he's got me beat. I'll catch you, Maestro. I'll catch you. Shout out to Marsh and the Marsh Pod and any interaction y'all had with him, and absolutely for sure, shout out to the icon Rick Blaze. You guys have come across him, so I'm very appreciative of the team that SimWorld has here to build this experience for you guys. It's only going to get bigger and better.
perfect, perfect, absolutely perfect. That was wonderful, y'all. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, again, without you guys tuning in, watching, supporting, being involved, active, engaged, all that stuff, like none of this is possible.
Right.
From you guys didn't see where we started, for good reason. But from where we are now, it's a much drastic difference. If you have been a part, following all along since the Ground Zero season, you know what we're talking about. So yeah, again, just we're really looking forward to continuing to grow and engage and getting this thing bigger and better than what it is now. It's called Sim World for a reason. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh man. All right, man. Let's jump into some Sim World proper conversations
Yeah.
now. Maybe we're gonna start a little bit of drama. Maybe I don't know. Perhaps we'll see. We'll
Get
see.
over it, kids. Here's the day where you can appreciate something called fair criticism. You could. That's what you can give thanks for. You can give thanks for an
Yeah.
honest opinion today.
Yeah. So we talk about, a lot of players. We hear the topic all the time, who's most NBA ready player now or whatever sport you're talking about, who's most pro ready player in X sport or whatever. Let's take that to SimWorld Prep. Who's the most NBA ready player in SimWorld Prep right now? I'd say there's a couple of them, but I only have two in mind. I
Okay.
only have Pet Towns and Cooper Flag. The only two that I have in mind. I've seen people talk about Trey Hyman, and I like what he does in certain areas, but there's still things where I think that he can be better at. To Mostly offensive end and that kind of stuff. I like where his defense is right now, but I think his offense can be a little bit better. That would be, in my opinion, one of his weaknesses if he were to jump to that NBA level.
That's all you got?
Yeah, but Cooper and but Cooper and Jafet, those kids, I feel like they are just uh head and shoulders above what what head and shoulders above a lot of the talent here in Civil Prep. Cooper, especially in particular, I really like what I've seen from him. And Jafet, I just the kid can. I think at the NBA level, what you need to do and do well is score, and both of those kids, Cooper and Jafet, can go get their own buckets, and I feel like that they would excel uh, enough to get their buckets at the NBA level to be competent on a team. I
Okay.
don't need them going out and dropping 30 a night, obviously. But if you can come in and get, 15, 15 points here and there, and you can do it, and again, in a competent manner, that's what I'd be looking for
Okay.
personally. What about you?
I'm gonna go a different direction. I know this. You said maybe we're gonna get it started on Thanksgiving. I do not believe that Cooper Frag. What is that? Cooper Flag is the most NBA ready player, and that's why I think that's where people get basketball and what level and age convoluted, in my opinion. By far, probably going to be the most dominant player in SimWorld Prep, standing at 6'9", 6'8", 6'10", whatever he is. Athletic, can handle. He can do a lot of different things at the prep level. He's God on the court, in my opinion. He's got all the skill and the size to go along with it. NBA wise, he's not there in my opinion. Size, yes, he can get there, but at his position, with that size, if he's headed to the NBA, either his ball handling and or his shooting or his strength are going to have to be a lot better. So if you try and play him
Yeah,
on the wing, he has to be a better perimeter scorer. He has to be a better ball handler than he is. If you try and put him on the post, he's got to be stronger. He's got to be able to defend the post. So he's stuck in that tweener position as of right now.
okay.
So in the prep level, he's going to murder y'all kids. He's gonna be a nightmare for some of these teams and coaches,
Yeah,
because you don't have to solidify into a role. Him going to Duke and getting his college time in is where he's going to develop his body, develop his IQ and his game. And I think
makes
that's
sense.
where
Yeah,
he gets ready for the pro level. So I don't think he's the most NBA ready SimWorld prep player yet. Jafet Towns, he's my 1A, 1B. It's hard for me to say where I actually put him just because I'm gonna go another direction just because you said Jafet Towns, but I do think Jafet Towns is right there. There's
okay,
two other
okay,
people I could put in that list. I could also say Arthur Lattimore,
okay.
just because he doesn't know he does not have a post game. I know what I said about Cooper Flag for someone wants to jump in there, but I think he's solidified and he is clearly a kind of like a post wing, a big man guy that's going to go get his buckets on the interior. You're not looking for him to get him from the
Right, right.
outside anyway. Contrary to everything I said about Carmelo, him being like Carmelo Anthony, I think his game is just similar, but I don't think his game is Carmelo Anthony. I think it's
Right.
bully ball is what I'm getting at.
Mhm.
But here's who I have as the most NBA ready player. If I don't say Jafet Towns, and you've already talked about him, it's Xavier Pope. I still
Oh,
think
okay,
Xavier Pope, I know
okay.
exactly what role he is playing. He's 6'6". I know how he gets his buckets. He has really good size. He's about 213, and that looks like a legitimate 213. And where he scores from on the court is what
Yeah,
the NBA is
that
all
mid range,
about. That mid-range game, he can
mid
shoot from the
range. Yep.
perimeter. He can handle enough to get it done, but he gets to spots. And when he gets to those spots, he's very hard to stop. And then furthermore, when he's going to the basket, he has the strength to finish at the rim. He doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be a highlight dunk. It's a ability to finish in traffic. So I
Yeah,
think he's
right,
the most NBA ready. And when I say NBA ready, it doesn't mean he comes on, he's scoring 40 points and 30 points a game in
right.
the NBA.
Exactly,
It
exactly.
just
That
means
makes
he's
sense.
ready to contribute in a major way, however a coach asks him in the NBA. And I think it's Xavier Pope for me. But right there's Jafet Towns. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay. Look, I like it though. I like it a lot, man. I like that Xavier Pope and also Lattimore options as well.
You, do
There's a
you
whole
do you have any honorable mentions?
honestly, I think those two you mentioned, Pope and Lattimore would be my two. as well.
Those are your
Honestly,
honorable mentions. Yeah, I
yeah,
think I threw mine out in there. Was Lattimore and Jafet for me. Dylan Harper. I'm a big fan of Dylan Harper's game too, but he also plays a little bit too much like James Harden for me, which I just you know how I feel about that. That step back
I
jumper
know,
is
man.
despicable. Ugh.
I know it, man. I know how you feel about James Harden, and it's a whole thing we could talk about here as well. I guess because there's always there was a time there was a time period where you had NBA players coming from the high school level.
Yeah.
Uh, I think there was talk about it a few weeks ago, maybe a few days ago. I can't remember when exactly, but do you think that that should be a thing that makes a comeback again, or do you feel like players need to go to college for a year or two, or they should be quote unquote required to by NBA rule or whatever? Because I believe that the NBA is the only sport that you have to go to college. Well, the NBA, and football. Those are the only two sports I can recall that you have to go to college first for before you can go to the pro level.
They don't have to go
Baseball
to
is different
college,
somehow.
but they have to burn a year. They don't have to go to college.
Okay. Oh, okay. I can't remember
So
what the exact ruling on wording on that was, but go ahead.
So before you say that, I do have two other honorable mentions real quick, just
Yeah.
because I feel like we'll always lean to scoring. There's a lot of big guys and a lot of big bodies. We can say, oh, they're big enough to play in the NBA. But I do have two other guys. And I would say Levin Cutler, but he's got some more weight to put on. He's exceptionally skilled, but he's got to get bigger and stronger. I'm going Corey Yams. Shout out Corey Yams. He would play
I had
power
the same
forward in
one when
the
you said
NBA
it.
right now. He's going to elbow somebody. He's going to give him a push to the lower back. He's going to do what needs to be
Yep.
done. So I'm going. I do want to make sure I say shout out Corey Yams for the dirty work that can get done
Absolutely.
at the NBA level. And then I got one more. I got one more. This one may be a little. This is Lucas Banks. I think could play in the NBA right now
Thanks.
because of his
Okay.
versatility. They can figure out where
Yeah.
to use him. His passing and his high level of versatility. I think he can make a mark somewhere. So him, but I wanted to make sure because I had those on my mind. I didn't want to
Yeah.
miss saying them.
Of course.
As far as your question, B. Ron, I'm a huge fan of. I think they need to go to college. I think they need to. I think you need to be required to be a certain age before you can join the NBA. And I think, in my opinion, you have to not just play in one of those leagues. I think you got to play in college where you can understand what a team game is, how to have respect for the game. Like Jordan Poole is a classic example. Hot piece of garbage. You see what he's doing in the sidelines and all of that, but you can't tell him nothing because he's talented. I feel like college is where you learn how to be a teammate, you learn how to be a player, you learn how to play a role, you learn humility. You may be great, but you're going to have to sit your ass on the bench for a year behind whoever is a senior or a junior
Yeah.
trying to get his last chance. There's so many things learned from having that 2 year rule that used to be in place.
Yeah.
I would love to see it return. I think that changes life in general, where people are
Okay.
forced to learn humility and learn
Yeah.
respect for things, as opposed to
Yeah.
I'm God on the court and I do whatever I want. No, you don't, man. You don't. So
Yeah, and see, so I like what you're saying, and I hear what you're saying, and I do agree with you in that respect. But I do think that with the way the game has changed now, and with what's essentially a minor league system with the G League, I feel like there's potential there for you to allow players to come out of high school and go to the G League right away. Um,
well,
that could be beneficial
Well,
for them.
I
I
feel
think
like they
that's
went
another
the
route
wrong
that you can
order.
take.
I feel like they went the wrong order. So they allowed them to come in. You can come join the G League or whatever. But if you went back to what I'm talking about, or you required now with the NIL deals, because that's
Yeah.
the whole thing is that you're keeping kids from making money when they could be making it, and you're making money off the likeness, right, and all that other stuff. So now if they have NIL deals and you still require them to go to college, that's different. At least it gives you an opportunity to learn how to excel. So I like the idea
Yeah.
because they can still earn money at that time. The G League it's handled like an AAU team or like an NBA team. So you're not forced and required to go through that young lion, earning a respect, minutes, humility, and everything else.
Okay, okay, I got you. See, you educating me. I like that. I like that. There's a lot of things I don't know, so I appreciate you giving me that information. A lot of things that I don't know too. Look at that. We're
So,
learning on Thanksgiving. I appreciate that.
so
Learn something new every day. Even though Thanksgiving, y'all. Even though Thanksgiving.
hell yeah.
Oh my goodness. So look, man, let's get into our next one here we got. So we talk about, people wanting to be the best at whatever they do, which is all well and good, obviously, all well and good. Uh, but when it comes to sports, there's usually two avenues you talk about: being the best or filling a role. Personally, I think that this is gonna be maybe a bit of a hyperbolic statement that I make here, and
Okay,
I'm not sure if I'm gonna word it right, but bear with me for a second.
I'm Baron.
You you can be the best, but you can also fill a role too and be the best at your role.
Okay,
So because when most people think about being the best, they think about being all around best at everything. You know what I mean? Well, you don't think about being the best at like one particular thing. Most people think best isn't, and it's a very amalgamous statement. That's not how I look at it. I look at being the best at in like I said, being the best at one particular thing and making your name on that thing. There's nothing wrong, as we've talked about numerous times, with being that role player. If you excel at defense, you're gonna find a spot on the court or on the or you're gonna find ways to get into the game, be involved. So I think that you can be the best and fill a role, be the best at that role, and not the all around best person. Because even those best people have things that they, that they aren't, A pluses in. You know what I mean? They might be like B's, but they're still good. If that makes sense.
No, I'm right there with you. I talk about this all the time, especially at the prep level and just in life. But we can go back to it. I'll use Golden State for example. I don't know who I was having this battle with. Somebody put me on because I did not know. Let's take Kevon Looney for example. Kevon Looney in high school and college was dribbling, shooting threes, busting spin moves on people, finishing at the rack. He had an offensive bag. Do you think that he no longer has an offensive bag? No, that's not true. But he
Right.
leaned into a role. He looked around his team. He looked around the landscape of the NBA and the draft, and okay, there's guys bigger, faster, stronger, and better offensively than me. Someone told him, you need to lean into these other things you do well, like rebounding and playing defense, and that's how you're going to get marketed. And he said, okay. He also had the humility to say, you're right, instead of shut up, you don't know what I'm talking about. My potential. He said, I get it. He was able to be realistic with himself. And then he went to Golden State. And coach asked him to lean even further into that, and he became the best because he was not going to be the best offensive option on that team. He's not going to be the facilitator because they already had that. So he said, "What role can I fill on this team? Rebounding and defense." And he leaned all the way into that, and he's the best on that team. And he has. How many years Kevon Looney been on that squad? Like 9 years at this point. He is an integral part of that team winning championships. They cannot let him go at this point. He is the big man on the
Yeah.
team, and he's out. He's outshined other people that have come and go that are more talented, aka Wiseman and some other guys.
Yeah.
It was all because he leaned into a particular skill because he knew he was not going to be the best in one particular thing. He said, let me see what I can be the best in, and he leaned all the way in. So, and that's filling a role. Is he the
Right.
best player on the team? No. He's the best rebounder. He's the best offensive board crasher, and consequently, he is required to get about 28 minutes a game now.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And like I said, if you find a spot like that, you will find yourself a lot of playing time because you can do that one thing real well. If it comes down to crunch time, you need a defensive stop. Hey, let's get our defensive guy on the floor. We're gonna get him up there.
Hey,
If you To use a baseball analogy, if you're down a run and you need that home run to tie the game up, bring your power guy out. Bring Nelson Cruz out. He'll hit a home run for you. It's fine.
yeah. Yeah,
Take care of that.
Draymond Green, same thing. They have a couple of those guys. They have two ends of the spectrum that everyone sees. Really, three ends of the spectrum. And the Warriors, I don't want to harp on it too long, but the Warriors are the prime example. Everybody watches the Warriors. They're like, oh, what a team. They have at one point, I know it's a little different now,
Right.
but they had the greatest players and the three greatest players. Oh, and Steph Curry's guy. You just watch the highlights and all that. But guess what? Here's a couple things. Without offensive rebounds on occasion, Warriors do not win championships. Thank you, Kevon Looney. Without Draymond Green willing to say, I'm going to play at the top of the key even though I'm 6'7", 235, I'll bring the ball up. And Steph Curry saying, I play point guard, but I'm gonna let him bring the ball up the court because it's better for our team. I'm gonna let him fill that role. They don't win championships. Steph Curry, having to work as hard as he has these last few years, scoring the points he does. Some of those guys on the team are there to set screens for Steph Curry to not have
Right.
to work as hard. That's their role. That's why he gets to look good, and they accept that. And then lastly, everyone's calling Clay washed, and it is not looking so great. Clay Thompson's role on this team for very many years is not he's a scoring god and a shooting guard. God, oh, he's unstoppable. No, it was very specific. Don't dribble.
He
Run
was
through
fine.
screens, find an area, and knock it down and perfect that. That's what he does. That's his role. That's what his role has been. Yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge now, but everybody's doing. You watch that team. There are very specific roles on that team. And insert the next guy that's supposed to be a Jordan Poole was supposed to be the next Steph Curry, but he's an absolute idiot, so they shipped him out. But everyone's filling a specific role on the Warriors, and that's why they're so effective year after year. It's not just because Curry is great. It's
Yeah.
not. There's people falling
Right.
into roles.
Exactly. Speaking of filling roles, man, we're gonna be filling our bellies later on today. Everybody is, I'm sure. So let's talk about your perfect Thanksgiving plate real quick. Let's get a little hungry this morning for later on in the day. So I know for me, I got some of my grandma's chicken pot pie on there. I'm gonna have some candy yams on there. I'm gonna have some collard greens with the smoked turkey in there. Gotta do that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have maybe a few pieces of ham in there or turkey. I haven't decided which yet, but one of those two, or maybe one of both. Whatever.
So
So
the wife puts everything on my plate, but I can tell you, I really only need four things on my plate. I need it followed at some point by a few bites of sweet potato pecan pie, which you can pick up at your local Papa Do's if you have one in your area. Sweet potato pecan pie, amazing.
that's a combination of that.
Shit. Shoot. We gotta do some editing. FCC. Sorry, FCC. Well, y'all don't know this is live if y'all don't, because there will not be any edit. Look, we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I need is some good juicy turkey. Oh, if it's dry, like bring the ham. But juicy turkey, my perfect plate, juicy turkey, baked macaroni and cheese, and I mean baked to the point where the crust is burnt a little bit around the sides.
Okay.
Oh yeah, baked mac and cheese. Oh man, I'm getting hungry. I'm getting hungry. Leroy. Oh man, yeah. I need my dressing. I do need my dressing. If you don't make your dressing with some green onions in there, and so a few other things, then I don't want it. It's traditional for me. Cornbread. I need some cornbread
Man.
and sweet potato casserole, souffle, whatever you call it in your area. I don't need just straight yams with sweet potato. It was with the marshmallow top crust
Yeah.
covering. Yeah, that's it. And I eat that like dessert. I really could replace a sweet potato pecan pie with that. Yeah, that's
Man,
all I need, man.
you mentioned a few that I forgot about too.
B-Run, I got to go back to you. So just to recap, my three: juicy
Yeah.
turkey, baked mac and cheese, dressing with the cranberry, and then number four is more baked mac and cheese. I mean, I want so much baked mac and cheese that I don't use the bathroom for a week. Like I want to be constipated. Is what I'm talking about. That's all I need.
Oh man, I forgot about the cornbread, the stuffing, mac and cheese. There's so many options that and I'm the kind of person too where I don't like my food touching, and it's the wrong holiday for me. I know, but it's a thing. I want to get into that here, but it's a whole thing. And so I do my best to not have food touching. People make fun of me for it. So look, I sectioned it off. It works anyway. I
Siege
forgot
out of
about
your mind talking about Thanksgiving food isn't good. You need to move, sir. Come spend it with some of the other team or some people.
man.
Like you need to.
Man, we,
It's
we
Thanksgiving
got you. We're
food's
gonna hook
not
you up,
good.
brother.
I'm so sorry for you. I feel so bad for you. You haven't had those kind of eats. That's what I know. That's what I now know. I'm so
As,
sorry.
as- oh man, look, I know it's gonna be a good day. Thank you all again for joining us today. We really appreciate your time as always. And just remember, y'all, SimWorld is the only place where you can see the game, be the game. Happy Thanksgiving once again, and we'll see you tomorrow.